hard, and guys that were excited about playing the game of football. And so that's what I'm excited about being. I mean, we're going to be a hard-working team, a team that's going to work hard on being right fundamentally, and a team that's going to work, a team that's just going to compete from the very start to the very end. And so, and that was one thing that I saw. That's one thing that I'm excited about being a part of.
Was going to Miami with Mark an option?
It was at one time. It was at one time.
How many other things were you juggling in terms of?
In terms of opportunities, yes, it was a few.
What made the difference here? What put this one over?
The thing that I loved about South Carolina and about this staff was the people. I was looking forward to working together with this group of men, and not so much, but both the men that are here, both on and off the field, and I think we got a great staff, and then just the potential to do well here. I think that last staff, as quiet as kept, is taking this program to another level. It really has. He had a Hall of Fame coach this year that's still going to kind of be around. So just to be a part of all that is really what excited me. Obviously, to be able to compete in the league that you're going to compete in. I still think this is the best league in the world for football. And so to kind of get in there and be able to compete in this league and this potential that's here in this group of men is what excited me. And so that's why I'm here. So that's what I'm excited about.
How much have you and Will and Kurt talked about how the co-coordinator stuff will work?
Sure. We talked about it a good bit. I think, with those guys, and obviously those guys being veterans in college football and coaching and everything like that, knowing and both being in it on both sides, those guys understand and know that it's a collective effort anyway. So when you're coming up with game plans, when you're coming up with practice plans, when you're coming up with, specific, when it comes to even personnel, I mean, it's a discussion. Ultimately, Coach Muschamp is the one that makes final personnel decisions, things like that. But it's a group, it's a collective effort anyway. So Kurt's gonna call it, but I mean, it's not just his ideas. It's everybody in that room's ideas. It's a product that South Carolina is putting out there, more so than Kurt Roper's offense or or anything like that. It's not even Coach Muschamp's defense. It's South Carolina's defense. And so that's the thing that I think those guys understand. I know those guys understand just being in the business part of it and knowing how it works. But so more so than any type of title, it's a collective effort anyway.
What was Mark Richt's biggest influence on the way you coach?
Just understanding the importance of why you do what you do. You're in it to help these kids and change these kids' lives and make sure that these kids ultimately, when they leave you, that they're ready for the world. They're ready to be men and husbands and fathers and things like that. And to know that these kids are a lot more important than just what they do on Saturday. So many of these kids, especially in college football nowadays and how it gets covered, I think, a lot of them think coming in thinking that their value is how well they do on the field. And you have to let them understand that, while that is important, and I mean, that's a big reason why you're here, but there's a lot more to you than just that, you know what I mean? Because that's when you get kids that leave and done with playing football, and then that's why it's such a big depression rate and everything like that once people are done playing football, because that's where that's what those guys think the value is. And so just understanding that it's a human being involved, in this even in this business part of it is what's important.
When you look around the country, it seems like wide receivers as freshmen make an impact a good bit, oftentimes. That hadn't really happened so much around here. How important is it to you to have guys make an impact early in their career if they've got that ability?
I think it's looked at more than it should be, to be honest with you. Ultimately, you're going to put the kid out there that gives you the best chance to win the game. So if that's a freshman, if that's a senior, then that's who it's going to be. I mean, you say that, but you look at the last 4 Heisman Trophy winners, and 2 of them are redshirted. Now, they weren't wide receivers, but so I think that kind of gets looked at a little bit more than it should be. But ultimately, you're going to play the guy that gives you the best chance to win the game out there on Saturday. And so I think that's the fairest way to be. Guys are going to get what they earn, and if they come out there and if they earn the playing time, or if they earn the opportunities, then that's who's going to get it. So whether it's early or whether it's late in the guy's career, that's when that'll happen.
When you look at what's returning from last year's roster, scary proposition for you when you don't see many catches, many yards, many touchdowns?
Well, it's potential, but like I said, I still think it's very, very early to kind of put a lot of stock in kind of where people ended up at last season. I mean, ultimately, just like Coach Sperry always says, I mean, you are what your record says you are. So right now that's where we are, and so we understand that there's still a lot of work to be done. But my thing is just guys are going to kind of take the bulls by the horn, and we're just going to kind of go from there, and then just kind of work our way into being better than we were. And I think as long as that's the focus, then ultimately I do think we will get better.
And what's when you're recruiting a wide receiver, what are some of the most important things you look for? One or two of the most important things?
I think not just in the wide receiver position. I kind of said this, so guys that's been here, you got to forgive me. But I think when you recruit a person in general, you want them. The thing that makes people great is obviously ability's got to be there, but the thing that the great players have in common are stuff that has nothing to do with ability. The guys that like to compete, the guys that love the game of football, they're tough, they like hard work. So those are the things that I think that you look at more so than anything else. Or guys that come out and then they're built a certain way, or that they can be developed to think that certain way. And so those are the things that I think that you look at more so than anything at any position. And I think that's ultimately what South Carolina is going to be known for. Is that we're going to go out there, we're going to try to compete we're going to compete from the very beginning to the very end of the game, regardless of the score. We're going to be hard working, and we're going to be tough. Going to be physical at every position, and then we're going to go out there and we're going to compete and we're going to fight you until the end of the game. And I think as long as you do that, you got a chance to be successful, not just at receiver, but at any position.
Coach, just curious, how tough a decision was this for you to decide to move over to South Carolina?
It wasn't too tough. It wasn't tough. I think the thing that made this decision easy was the people. I think there's phenomenal people here. I think it's a phenomenal place. I think this institution has the potential to be great. I really do think it does. I mean, you look back at the last staff; they did a great job of taking this institution to a new level. It really did, and I think you can build on that. And I think you have things that are getting in place here that's going to make that happen. And I think so. I mean, that's ultimately what helped me make my decision to come here.
How much did you come in feeling a little bit better, considering how you were able to stay down there and lead Georgia to a win in the bowl game?
I was very thankful and very glad to have that opportunity to do that. I think that time helped highlight exactly why we do what we do in this profession, and understanding this about the players, and understanding that those guys deserve and they deserve your very best, and they deserve you kind of being your focal point of why you do what you do every single day when you wake up. And so I think that I'm very grateful for. But ultimately, I think you have the exact same thing here. You have Coach Tanner, I think understands the importance of why we do what we do. He understands the importance of why these kids here deserve the absolute best, and he's working like mad to get those guys that. And I think not just him, but it starts from the top and it gets trickled down to this coaching staff all the way down to the players, knowing that that we're fully committed to give these kids the best.